And welcome to the Allen Americans podcast, way back Wednesday, coming to you from the studios of Frito Nation Productions in Allen. My good buddy Mark Friedman, he puts together the podcast. And if you have a small business, a big business, and you want to get a podcast going, whether it's weekly or daily, you can contact Mark at FritoNation.com. Joining us is the original captain of your Allen Americans, the one and only number 32, number 7, number 40. Did I get all the numbers right there, Jarret Lukin?
You got her, Tommy. But 32 is the number one there.
Well, since we started there, let's talk about that and tell everybody why you chose 40 first over number 32.
Well, it has to do with seniority, and Mr. Eric Adams had some more games played than me, so he got the first pick. So I originally picked 40. It wasn't even a favorite number, and then I didn't really like it, so I tried 7, but I didn't really like that one either. So finally got 32, finally won a championship.
Well, that Eric Adams screws up everything, doesn't he?
I know, right? Is he still doing that there?
Yeah, we love Eric Adams. You know Adams. You played with him. He was my roommate on the road when he was an assistant coach. He's what in Canada and in the hockey world they call a true beauty.
Oh, he is exactly epitome of a beauty. Rico. I don't know if I called him Eric too much, but
no, nobody does. Everybody calls him Rico, but
always smiling, good guy.
Absolutely. And just so people who didn't know his nickname, and I know that the hardcore fans do, but for the ones that didn't know, we defined him as Eric Adams, just so everyone would know. Well, this is perfect timing because signing in the minor leagues start next week in the ECHL. Monday the 16th, and you, along with your good buddy Justin Bowers, were the first two players signed by the Allen Americans way back when in the fall of 2000. Well, I guess it would have been summer, but the fall-summer of 2009. Talk about being signed by Allen, you and Bowers, and what was that moment like for you?
Well, there's a couple of guys we also have to mention there. Gaudette was also one of the first, and Britt Doherty. So originally, Bill McDonald hooked me, Gaudette, and Bowers, and they flew us down in the summer. And they wined and dined us, took us golfing, took us to these fancy restaurants, and long story short, they sucked us in, and we loved it right away. I remember the rink, the one side wasn't even finished. Like, you could see right through. And the office was right in front there. And, it was pretty special. We were really excited about it. And then we just kind of started recruiting within us and our friends. And then we got the Bruce Grahams and, like, Wheels and all these good players started to come in. That's how it started. That
was pretty awesome. And the reason why I said you is because I saw the original contracts. And dated first were you and Bowers. And you're right, Britt Doherty and Christian Gaudette were a couple days after. But the first contract sign dates were actually you and your buddy Justin Bowers. I still have a copy of those contracts in my office. I held on to them. That's something much like we have the first puck. Christian Gaudette, everybody remembers, I'm sure, if you're a longtime old school Allen Americans fan, scored that first goal in Arizona. What's that?
Was it 1-0, right?
1-0 final, indeed. Charlie Effinger was in net that night. First shutout in your first game. How about that?
Oh, we had what a start we had as an organization on the road. We won how many in a row, and then our bus broke down on the way back, right?
Don't remind me.
You got that good team building experience right away in the first year.
I remember that our equipment manager, Patrick Lowe Stevens, we were stuck on the side of the road for about 6 hours, and he had got like a lot of the equipment, which was still wet. Remember that? He pulled it out of the trailer and was hanging it on that fence in the middle of the desert, wherever the heck we were. It was like somewhere between,
Route 66 by Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
We were trying to find snakes and stuff. We were so bored.
That was incredible. It was so hot. Never forget that. But what a start to the year. Finally come home for that home opener. The building was packed that night. Unfortunately, the ending wasn't good for us. We lost our first home game, but as we would know, on this date, that there would be many, many more wins to come that year. And what an incredible first season for the Allen Americans. Not only do they knock down the big bad boys, the Odessa Jackalopes, but we wound up in the finals that year. First year expansion team headed to Rapid City.
Oh, it was almost a storybook ending. I think we lost game 6. That was tough. We had the team to do it, but I think obviously we learned a lot on the way. It's funny, we lose in the finals the first year in the Central League, and then you guys go to the East Coast the first year, and there you are in the finals, and then end up winning. So that was really good to see, even as a past player, and just to see the league jumping, to show that we were that good from day one, even in the Central.
Talk about the early days of the team, though, because you remember Allen first hockey team. A lot of fans would admit that coming to an Allen Americans game was their first experience with hockey. The one thing that I loved about our group there, Jarret, and which included you and Bowers and Graham and Musatelli and Tobias and Whitley and all those big names that we've talked about here already, how close you guys were and how good you guys were in the community, engaging with fans. And, we had your radio show, Luke's Lunch, that we did, every week. Sometimes begrudgingly you showed up to do it. I know you're Tommy, all right, let's cancel it this week. I'm tired. But you're always there. Sometimes due to a phone call from your wonderful sister, Jolene, who was very involved with your career. But that was quite a year for you guys, an expansion team, really getting involved in the community there in Collin County.
Yeah, I agree. And then looking back at it now, and the way we recruited, Macker bringing the 3 of us from Dayton, and then it's just slowly started from there. So not only were these teammates, a lot of us knew they were friends, and we were bringing in not only good hockey players, but good guys. And the city of Allen was so welcoming. Like, it goes just hand in hand with the kind of guys we brought in. That the city was so welcoming. It was such a good place to be. I knew playing a couple years pro before, it was such a special place, and then going to the finals, and those fans that started out as fans, and as we all grew together, they became friends, and it's nice to see so many banners hung up for them.
This is the original captain of the Allen Americans, Jarret Lukin, joining us here on our Way Back Wednesday segment. So good to see you, Lukey. It wouldn't be Lukey without the beard and then the hat turned around backwards. But how much do you still keep in touch with a lot of those hardcore guys that you played with and that were a big part of this team here at Allen?
Not very much at all, to be honest. Hockey's a funny thing. I just saw Mike Brube like a few days ago. My girlfriend and I went up and stayed a couple nights with him and his family, and he's one of my best buddies, and we don't even talk that much. But in hockey, you get those special relationships, just like we're talking now, where we haven't spoken in a while, but it's like I saw you yesterday. And
yeah,
and it's those kind of the memories that you make and the time that's spent with each other. And you don't need to make phone calls all the time, but when you have alumni games and things like that to come back to, you have lots to talk about and catch up.
That's something we need to do again, because I know a lot of the guys that wanted to be there couldn't be there on that day. Much like, I think about Chris Whitley, who we had on here recently, who really wanted to be a part of that, and Nino Musatelli. So it was great to see guys like you and Bowers and Graham and Tobias. And we missed a few of the big names, so we'll have to do it again.
Yes.
Is it weird, though, when you come back and you think about it, and now this is going to be the 12th year for the Allen Americans franchise, and it seems like just yesterday that we were hopping on that big old red bus, and I'll take you back to one of your great memories. We were about 10 minutes out of town, and somebody said, "Wow, I smell smoke." We pulled over on the side of the road on Highway 380. There's Lukey out there. He's filming the whole thing. You remember that night well?
Yeah, that video actually made it to the East Coast Hockey League meetings. I guess someone said it was the PHPA meetings. I guess it got pretty popular there. But yeah, we made it 10 minutes out of town, and our bus is on fire, I guess, and the fire trucks in there, ambulance, and the whole shebang. But it was pretty fun. I'm glad I took a video. Molly looked really impressed there when I was filming them. So.
Well, I don't know if you were awake for this one, Lukey, but this was a trip. We were headed to either Laredo or to Rio Grande Valley, but we're just south of San Antonio on I-35, and I think most of the guys might have been asleep. But we're driving in our bus driver, Scotty, God rest his soul, great guy, wonderful guy. And,
Yes.
I'm sitting up there with him, we're chatting, and all of a sudden he said, Tommy, did you just see a tire pass us on the road? And I said, I didn't want to say I did, but I did. And he said, you don't think it could be? We
No.
pulled over. Sure enough, we lost one of our back tires, came off the bus, and passed us on the highway.
That's awesome. No, I don't remember. I must have been sleeping, I'm sure.
That was, well, it's not one of those stories you want to tell the guys either, too.
Yeah, a little bit, a little scary, but those are the kind of stories it's fun to, talk and catch up on. Yeah.
Lukey, how's your family? Because, obviously I got to know your family very, very well. They made several trips to Allen. I still have every set of mitts that your mama, sweet mama Lukey, sent me in quite the collection. I've had many people who have wanted to buy those off of me over the years, and I said, no, nobody will ever get these. These are gifts of a very good family that I knew in my early days of broadcasting hockey. How is the family doing?
Really good, actually. Mom and dad are doing great. They're both retired. Well, they kind of became full-time nannies. They're helping out my sister with Brian and Sophie. Due to the pandemic, my sister's been working from home. So my parents have been spending lots of time. They enjoy the grandkids over there. And my she's doing really well. Just working. I got laid off. I was one of the people. So I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting to get back here. But no, everyone's doing good. Everyone's healthy and happy, and we're just kind of waiting for summer to come here. I'm telling you, Tommy, like I'm going to dog park in the morning, I'm freezing stuff.
Yeah, it's. I'll trade you. I'll trade you for a couple days. It's pretty hot here.
Couple days. I mean, pretty hot down there. I don't know.
How often do you put the skates on? I know with Dryden, and my gosh, it seems like this yesterday that Dryden was born. But how often do you put the skates on and get out there with him?
Well, this year, not so much. I ended up moving from Calgary to Canmore, which is about 45 minutes west. So I'm right by Banff in the Rocky Mountains. But the years before, we haven't talked too much about it, but I was helping out with him. I was going on and they needed help, or when I had time to go on and push pucks and help kids with some things. And then this past year, I actually was assistant coach at SAIT, which is a college here. So it's a little bit below U Sports. So that was an experience, but I only coached half the year. And then it wasn't really for me, I would say so much. But anyway, I moved to Canmore. I met a girl, an old friend, at a funeral, a buddy we lost this past July. And it was kind of love at first sight. So it's been going on just about a year here in July. And we've been living together. I moved here with her probably 6 months ago. And yeah, we're doing really good. Enjoying the change of scenery, and she has a 7-year-old boy actually, and he loves hockey, so it's been easy connection for me, and he's just waiting to get back on the ice. Exciting for me. So him and Dryden are become best buds too, so makes it easy for an uncle here.
Well, you'll have to bring her to Allen to let her know where you kind of started our franchise, first captain.
Oh, exactly. I talked to her about it a bunch, but we just got to wait till next season here. And 100% I'll bring you down, Tommy.
Well, and I can't let you go without talking about this in our first championship in Allen, and what a big part you played in that. Things weren't going well for us. Had our opportunities, just couldn't seem to get one in the back of the net. And here's Jarret Lukin, halfway through that third period, scores that huge goal. And from there, the rest is history. Hendo with his, and then, of course, Todd Robinson with the game winner overtime. But you got it going there for us in our first championship. I think only fitting.
Yeah, who knew it would have played out for 3 more after that one? It's funny, the fans will bring it up when I come back there and always talk about that first goal. We were down 2-0 after 2 at home, and we lost game 6, and it was pretty quiet in the dressing room. I remember, and we're like, "Are we really down 2-0 at home in the finals? Like, what is going on?" And myself personally, I didn't play well game 6. I was really, really nervous. I was thinking so much about raising the trophy. It was just an inexperienced thing. So, I regrouped myself, and our team regrouped. But anyway, back to that second intermission, And I think I scored with just under 4 minutes left, and I don't even remember. I had the feeling I was still like in such, I don't know, I was so in it. And then when Hendo scored, and then Robinson scored, it was all so fast. And then yeah, I've never been that happy really in my life. I just couldn't believe it happened like that. You know, it was a storybook championship with the comeback and at home, and pretty special.
What was it like to pick up that cup for the first time and skate around the ice with it?
Oh, I've been waiting 30 years, you know, to raise, you know, to win a championship in a ring. And yeah, I can't really explain that feeling still, you know. My dad being there was, you know, icing on the cake too, just to see him run on the ice and to share that moment with my dad made it extra special. And yeah, those days are, you know, as you know, you've relived them 2 more times, but
Yeah.
they're pretty special.
Well, 238 games in an Allen American sweater and 162 points. What a career. And of course, the first ever captain of your Allen American. Jarret Lukin, thank you for doing this morning. And we appreciate you and all you've done for Allen in Allen hockey. And I know the fans would want to tell you we miss you, Lukey. We really do. And we hope we see you soon.
Well, Tony, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Lukey. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, Tommy. Take care, man. Miss you, pal.